What is up, YouTube? I got a quick video for you today. This is actually a request video from a comment from Andrew Farms. He's basically asking, where is it? What my thoughts are on non-alcoholic beverages, if that is considered sober living. Technically, it has a very small amount of alcohol in it. This is kind of my stance on that. I do drink non-alcoholic beer. And not in any amount even close to what I used to drink regular beer at, but I find that out at social gatherings, I didn't stop drinking because I hated the taste of beer, and if you find yourself out at a bar for a function, or and if you're comfortable with being in that kind of environment, sipping on water and iced teas and water with lime, you pound it. And next thing you know, you're like, God, I've had 10 fucking waters, So, being able to drink a non-alcoholic beverage, it's at a slower pace, and I don't know, maybe it's probably different for everybody, because for me, there's no temptation to be like, oh, now I can, maybe sneak getting a real beer in, because the whole process of it is removing the temptation to want to drink. Being able to abstain, not out of just sheer white knuckling, but it's because you enjoy the life that you have now. Do I consider it sober living? Absolutely. I've done the math on it to even get a buzz off of want to equate to1 beer. You're gonna, I think it was 25 of those that you'd have to drink, and at 12 ounces a pop, you're gonna throw up before you can get that amount of liquid into your body, and to the point where you would and your body is always metabolizing the alcohol as well. NyQuil has, I believe it's 10% alcohol, and I've been sick since I've had this, and I read a lot of forums before I even took NyQuil once, but I was really nervous, actually, and I was like, I've taken NyQuil in the past and never had any thought about it, and I never once felt drunk, but then now being sober, I was like, is that going to do anything? And I felt nothing, and if anything, the effect of the sleeping drug aspect of it, zonks you out. No one's walking around drinking NyQuil to get drunk, and if you are, you have a severe problem, because there's a lot of medicine in there that you shouldn't be guzzling down. So, as far as do I think it's considered drinking to have non-alcoholic beer? Absolutely not. And granted, sobriety, I believe, is subjective. Just like mine might be a little bit different than other people's. You could make the argument that someone who's a cokehead that finally finds it within themselves to abstain from coke for the rest of their life, if they go out and they have a couple beers with friends, and they don't ever think anything of it, and it's not a problem for them, would someone call them living sober? Maybe not technically in the sense that they're abstaining from everything, but what about everyone that's in AA that are smoking cigarettes? I used to smoke cigarettes, and I did it for the feeling, so in that sense, it's an altering substance, even if it's small, minute, you're not gonna crash a car because you smoke cigarettes, but is that sober? Is coffee sober? So it really comes down to what you want to call sober, and at the end of the day, it's what is working for you. I don't drink anymore. If someone wants to sit there and split the hairs of whether or not they think that your sobriety is, true because you drink non-alcoholic beverages, I think you need to kind of weigh out where that person's intentions are. Are they just trying to, kind of rattle your cage? Because, I've never looked at NAs as a slippery slope back into drinking, because that's never what it was for me. It's always been if I'm going to go out with friends to a restaurant and everyone's getting drinks, if they have non-alcoholic beer, then I'll get one of those, If they don't, then I get iced tea or something else. It's not a big deal, but if you find the ones that you like for me, O'Doul's Amber is the best tasting. It's more full-bodied. It's pretty rich. And actually, last night was the Christmas party at the brewery I work at, one of them, Fog Belt, and they brewed me a non-alcoholic beer. an IPA. It was incredible, and it was super sweet and touching, and having that kind of like support is really amazing, and it's vital, I think, and that comes from admitting your alcoholism and getting everyone kind of on board with your journey and being really open and transparent and truthful. But kind of getting back to the basis of this video, I absolutely consider that sober living. If you've stopped drinking now, if you were to say, hey, I have a beer here and there, I wouldn't call that sober living. But if you're the kind of person that can handle having a beer every once in a while, then, I mean, you're not at the level I was anyway, and that's not comparing anything. I'm just saying I was never able to just have a beer. For me, it was like the second it got in my system, I was like, that's it. We're doing this until I black out. There was no balancing that, so there was no level of self-control for that. So I think if you want to consider something sober living, whatever your vice is, I don't think cutting back all the way to a very small amount would be considered sober living. I think you would have to just cut that part out. But it's not something like, I don't drink non-alcoholic beers every day or even every week. Sometimes I go weeks without having them, because I don't really think about them. I treat non-alcoholic beer the way that it would have been nice had I been able to do that with regular beer, but I couldn't, and now I'm actually really stoked that I have the life that I live, because I don't wake up with hangovers or anything. I don't suffer from any of the negative effects of alcohol, and that is because of my sober lifestyle, regardless of the fact that I drink non-alcoholic beers. Also, I mean, you could even look at it like how I know people that don't drink at all anymore, but they smoke weed, but is that the thing that got them to where they were? I mean, if someone likes to go home after a long day and they, smoke a bowl and they watch a movie and they go to bed, and I mean, you could make that argument that they're not sober because they're imbibing with that. But that's what I'm saying, like, where's the line? That's why sobriety is so subjective. And really, I think it's your own shit. You know what I mean? Like, whatever sobriety has to be for you to make it work. If sobriety means for you, I can't drink alcohol anymore, but I'm fine with smoking weed. That's never been my issue. It's never been a problem for me. It doesn't take anything away from my life. Then you without alcohol, that's your sober life, But I have another friend who hit me up and he felt like he was addicted to weed and alcohol, and so he needed to quit across the board, and he has, and that's his version of sober living. So, I think it's all relative, and don't let anyone else define what your sobriety is for you, I mean, it's, is as personal and as solo as this journey is, there are a lot of people that are involved in it, but don't ever let someone else try to define your own parameters of what is working for you, and whether or not you are sober. I've had people tell me that my sobriety doesn't count until I start working a program. Like, what kind of shit is that? Like, I've had, in April it'll be 2 years that I haven't drank, and I'm talking to someone who's relapsed 3 times in a 2-year span and telling me my sobriety isn't working. And I was like, okay, like, you need to check yourself, like, go back to the drawing board, because one of us has slipped up 3 times and the other one hasn't, and one of us is in a program and the other one hasn't. I think that's part of the program mentality of, like, it's okay if you slip, keep coming back, it works. That's the part I never understand, is I'm like, if it's okay to relapse and keep coming back if it works, like, those seem like a contradiction, like an oxymoron. Like, keep coming back, it works, and it's okay to mess up. Okay, but and like I say in this video and all my videos, I'm not trying to shit on AA. But when someone tells me that what I have done isn't valid because I haven't used their method, that shit boils my blood. So I guess in closing, man, just be honest with yourself. If for whatever reason you feel like drinking non-alcoholic beers is a way to like slowly dupe yourself into thinking it's okay to drink regular beers, then don't do that. You know, like you have to, like this whole process is about being super honest and real with yourself and not justifying anything anymore. Like it's all about just being straight up. If I ever felt like when I drink a non-alcoholic beer, if that was kind of making me think like maybe I want to start drinking again, I would stop doing it immediately. But it doesn't. It's, you know, I may have like 2 or 3 in an evening, and then you already get to the point where you get sick of it after a while, because it's nice in the beginning, and then pretty quickly you're like, okay, how many more of these am I really gonna fucking have? You know, so just you do you, man. Honestly, that's how I look at it. Your sobriety is whatever it needs to be for you. Don't let anyone tell you any different. So I hope that helped. I'll probably come back with another video sometime soon. I appreciate all the love and all the comments, and that's one thing I'm still getting used to, is people telling me, you know, that they appreciate these videos and to keep doing them, and that it's kind of like help them kind of see the error of their ways, and hopefully they can get sober. And it's still something that's very shocking to me, because for a very long time I was very far away from anything that could ever be considered inspirational. So I love it, and I love all you guys, and just know that you can do it. Just don't drink. Don't drink, and find other shit to do, and life gets better, I promise you. So anyway, you guys, thanks for watching, and I will see all you guys next time.